Right now on WUSA 9 News at 6, we are tracking fear, frustration, and federal forces in the streets of D.C. Thank you for being here. I'm Leslie Foster.
And I'm Lorenzo Hall. On day 4 of President Trump's federal takeover of the city's police force, we've captured some stunning moments showing the escalation and the impact of this new order.
Today, bulldozers moved in to clear homeless encampments, including one just steps from the Kennedy Center. The White House says people who don't leave could be thrown in jail.
Yeah, and on 14th Street in Northwest, we were there as federal officials arrested this delivery driver. Neighbors stepped in to ask why, but they didn't get an answer. This follows a new directive from D.C.'s police chief expanding certain cooperation with federal immigration authorities.
Near that same area, officers set up a traffic checkpoint last night. They arrested at least one person. Protesters showed up telling them to leave and directing drivers away.
Get off our streets! Get off our streets! Get off our streets! Get off our streets!
Yeah, and also this morning, National Guard troops helped detain a man outside of Union Station. You can see right there in the red. Tonight, they remain posted there and right along the National Mall.
We've got team coverage of these latest developments. Our reporters are spread out across the city to show you what is happening right now.
We want to begin with our Rafael Sanchez Cruz, who captured federal agents arresting a man earlier today.
This morning I was talking to a food vendor right across the street who I've known for years. She tells me a lot of the vendors here on 14th Street didn't show up to work today because they're concerned with the increased presence of federal immigration officials. As she was telling me that, 3 unmarked cars pulled up here and arrested a man. This is what happened afterwards. It was just before 11 a.m. in Columbia Heights.
¿Qué motivo te dieron?
A food delivery driver is put in handcuffs by several federal agents. I asked the man what reason he was given for his arrest. He responds, "They're taking me away." Neighbors reminding the man that he has the right to remain silent. This witness asked the federal agents what was happening. They asked her if she worked with news and told her to step back.
Are you news or something? That's why we're...
Yeah, will news get a better answer?
Yeah, as soon as we're done conducting our investigation, we'll be able to fill you guys in.
But they left without giving us any answer. These women tell me he's a delivery driver who works every day outside the restaurant where they work. They tell me he's humble and hardworking.
This is racial profiling at its finest.
Jose Guzman says he believes the D.C. government is not protecting its immigrant communities when they need to the most.
We as citizens of the district need to speak up, and we need to stand up for those who are not protected in the city.
The incident prompting the response from immigration advocates.
Here today passing out these red cards, which on the one hand remind people of their constitutional rights, and on the other hand provide something that they can share with immigration to assert and remind immigration of their rights.
This arrest happening hours after D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith issued an order that allows for the partial cooperation between her officers and federal immigration officials. The order allows D.C. police to provide information about people who are not in police custody and for the local police to transport immigration employees.
You're in an unmarked car right now.
D.C. neighbors were outraged that officers didn't identify their agency, some even concealing their faces.
The federal agent who's, of course, hiding his face, for whatever reason, and then you see MPD kind of swooping in here and then impounding the motorbikes, and so it does feel like obviously they're working complicitly in this situation.
Here are D.C. police and federal agents conducting a traffic citation minutes earlier. We do not know the immigration status of the man arrested today. We do not know if he has a criminal history. What I do know is that a close friend tells me he's from Honduras. We've reached out to federal officials to know more details about the case, but we haven't heard back. As for the executive order issued by Chief Smith, it does not allow immigration officials to interrogate people that are under D.C. police custody. In Columbia Heights, I'm Rafael Sanchez Cruz, WUSA 9.
And tonight, the D.C. Police Union is also responding to the new immigration order. In a statement, it said, quote, "The union supports this federal intervention as a critical step to stabilize public safety, but places the blame squarely on the D.C. Council for its disastrous legislative failures, which have crippled the MPD and necessitated such measures."
Federal officers and the National Guard are now patrolling D.C. streets 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, we've noticed that increased presence in a few places, including Union Station. That's where our Melissa Kim is tonight. And Melissa, what are you seeing there right now?
Yeah, good evening, guys. We're hitting the latter part of the evening commute here outside Union Station. You can see amidst all the hustle and bustle of people around here, National Guard members in uniform with their Humvees. They've been walking around. I also saw some U.S. Capitol Police officers patrolling this area as well, which is usually typical. But earlier today, I spoke with a woman who witnessed something she says wasn't normal at all in her neighborhood.
There's been tension brewing in our city for so long now, you know.
It was a typical Wednesday night for Natalie Eldridge when
all of a sudden I just heard a bunch of noise outside my apartment and didn't think much of it because 14th Street can be pretty loud.
When she went out to investigate, she was met with this. Almost 100 of her neighbors chanting at a dozen law enforcement officers who were stopping cars as they drove by.
And just to walk outside my door and see such a large traffic stop, it was a little bit surreal.
Natalie has lived in D.C. for 7 years and doesn't think crime here is unusual for a metropolis.
I will say we are a city, we have crime just like any other city, but it's nothing like what they're making it out to be.
In fact, she feels a little uneasy seeing all of the federal troops.
The presence of the National Guard and these people who have these weapons who are now on the streets, that makes me feel a little unsafe.
But there are others, like lifelong Washingtonian Michael Burke, who we met on U Street, who are in support of what he's seeing.
I think it should have been happening.
Because he says he's experienced crime in the district.
I've been subjected to a whole lot of violence on the metro, and Trump, I applaud what he's doing.
For MPD tells me that it did indeed conduct that traffic stop on 14th Street Northwest last night. He says that they stopped 28 vehicles and made 1 arrest for a person that was driving without a permit and counterfeit tags. We're live outside Union Station tonight. I'm Melissa Kim, WUSA 9.
Residents registering their concerns and their intent loud and clear, too.
Different perspectives. Some people are against it, some people want it.
Yep.
All right, Melissa, thank you. And we should point out any minute now, we are expecting federal officials to begin targeting homeless encampments. This morning, the city cleared one location we told you about right between the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial.
Our Matthew Torres is live at a different encampment. This one is near Washington Circle. Matthew, what's happening there?
Hey, so just moments ago, we saw a community advocate with Miriam's Kitchen talking to the individuals who live in these tents here at Washington Circle, telling them that they need to start moving out before the city plans to clear this encampment site. We still don't know exactly where the federal government is planning to target which homeless sites, but we know the city is trying to clear out sites on their own as much as possible, since they say they have the right resources to do this in a dignified way. With the Lincoln Memorial as a backdrop, a different kind of monumental occasion that Jesse Wall says is for all the wrong reasons.
I feel very frustrated.
Wall is one of at least 12 people living at this homeless encampment.
Some snacks. Can't have a lot of food out here because the draws animals.
Now ordered to get out as the White House cracks down on homelessness during President Donald Trump's federal takeover.
I feel very terrible that that man thinks that he could be able to do something like this and uproot and make people feel less stable.
Clearing homeless encampments isn't new in D.C., but threats from the federal government of fines or even jail time if unhoused people don't leave, move to shelters, or seek mental health services have elevated concerns.
Closing down an encampment doesn't solve the problem. It just moves the problem. People are being threatened with arrest, and so we are now officially criminalizing homelessness in this city.
Why are you not concerned about that?
As a human being, I'm always concerned if people who are living on the margin face circumstances that could traumatize them. So yes, I would not like to see any situation where we have people who are homeless being marched to jail, and I hope that does not happen.
D.C.'s Deputy Mayor of Health and Human Services, Wayne Turnage, says it was the city, not the federal government, that decided to clear the camp first.
They don't have the social services component on the ground that we do. We felt if this site was going to be closed, because it was a sizable site, that we should do it ourselves.
His department notified people just yesterday. Usually it's a complex process to clear a site, and they're now trying to urge other unhoused individuals to move, especially since the federal government is ready to act quickly.
They have a very aggressive timeline. They want to be finished with the encampment part of this process in a week or so. I don't know if that's possible, but that's what their goal is.
Advocates say shelter does not work for everyone. For Wall, he wasn't always unhoused, but is working to find his footing.
The less stable that people feel, the less able they are to be encouraged to find work and become stable.
There are more than 60 homeless encampments here in the city involving around 100 people. I spoke to one lady who lives in one of these tents. She says she prefers not to go to a shelter because it's too noisy, it's too unpredictable as far as once you're inside there. So she says she plans to maybe find a more private area where they can post up this tent. Advocates tell us, though, this really is a reminder why the government should really focus more on the affordable housing crisis instead. Guys.
Yeah, these folks need a place to go and
They
resources.
do. And even if you move them, you don't help them. It won't keep them off the streets for long.
Eliminate the problem at all.
Absolutely. Matthew, thank you. And of course, if anything happens near you, let us know. So new tonight, the man accused of throwing a Subway sandwich at a federal official in D.C. was back in court. A judge has released 37-year-old Sean Dunn, a former Department of Justice employee, on his own recognizance. Prosecutors say this video posted on Instagram shows the incident, and they're now pushing for some serious felony assault charges.
Our Matt Gregory is live outside the federal courthouse, and Matt, we know these charges carry up to 8 years in prison. What more are you learning about this case?
Lorenzo, Leslie, that's what makes this so unusual. He would be released. You know, we were talking today and hearing in the courtroom that the government plans to pursue the most strict of felony assault charges with a maximum of 8 years. And when the judge released Dunn on his own recognizance, it's sort of not what we normally see in these cases. If you're being charged with such a serious felony, normally you have bond or you have some reason, some sort of restricted release, but not in this case. And Dunn's attorney says this is a big legal victory, but at the same time, she also has questions about how the government went back and arrested Sean the other night. Let's talk about it right now. So we're going to take you through what we saw. This was starting on Sunday night. That's when this video started to populate online. Court documents and videos show this happened near 14th and U Street. And in this video, prosecutors allege Dunn verbally confronted federal officers, then threw his Subway sandwich at one officer from close range. Now, he was arrested and appeared in D.C. Superior Court on Monday. A judge there released him, right? But then on Wednesday, Dunn's attorney says the Justice Department released a new arrest warrant, this time charging him with felony assault of a federal officer in federal court, so moving jurisdictions. His attorney says Dunn tried to arrange to have himself turn in, but the DOJ didn't respond. They said they made several attempts. She claims instead 20 officers came to his home last night and arrested him. Today, the federal judge again released Dunn on his own recognizance. We went back to where this all happened to find out from people in the area, what do they think about the crime?
It's the disrespect coming from the federal side, and so everybody's going to protect something. And if this is this way, this guy, unfortunately, in a bad way, because you're not outrunning the federal government like that. Yeah, I guess he's going to say, in retrospect, he's going to say, hey, why did I do that?
It's tragic.
What do you think about that?
That's too bad. You shouldn't do this. Yeah, no, you shouldn't do this.
No. So why do you think that?
Well, I mean, he's not supposed to do that. It's against the law officers, so he should be, you know, he has to restrain himself.
Yeah, Sean will be back in court. Sean Dunn will be September 4th. That's when we will hear his preliminary hearing, which, based on what we were seeing in the courtroom today, might go a little bit more his way than he would have expected. At the same time, as we're coming up tonight at 11, we'll have a little bit more from what we saw inside the courtroom, including some information on Dunn's background that prosecutors didn't seem to be aware of that might play in his favor. I'll explain what that is coming up tonight at 11. But for now, outside the federal courthouse, I'm Matt Gregory. Back to you.
We're watching that reporting for sure, Matt.
And a lot of folks comparing this to what we saw on January 6th.
Absolutely.
How he's facing these serious charges
and those did not. Yeah.
All right, Matt, thank you. And you can find all of our Trump Takeover coverage streaming right now on WUSA 9+. Just download the app for your smart TV and watch it anytime for free. We'll be right back with more of the news at 6.